Good day, friends. We are beginning the course Fundamentals of Metallurgy for Directors and Commercial Staff. And let me rephrase it. The fundamentals of metallurgy for everyone working in the metallurgical industry, especially for all non-production staff in field. Typically, metallurgists working in production have a formal education in metallurgy, while office-based staff often do not. From my interaction with plants and discussion with professionals, I have often observed that individuals in leadership roles, such as a marketing director, may not know basics such as that a ladle furnace, for example, follows an electrical furnace. Is it important for marketing director to know this? I believe it is. Understanding how your plant generates revenue and grasping the fundamentals of the metallurgical process gives you far greater potential to improve your enterprise's efficiency and make a meaningful contribution to its success. That's why I would say this course is essential for all non-production personnel in the metallurgical sector. It's also highly valuable for companies collaborating with metallurgical plants, equipment suppliers, raw materials providers, and product buyers, and companies offering various services or infrastructure. Let me open the presentation. It is crucial to have a basic understanding of how a metallurgical plant operates. When searching for solutions, a deeper knowledge of the subject provides us with a wider range of options. Additionally, it's essential to understand how competing plants function. For example, electric steel plants compete in certain market segments with integrated steel plants that utilize blast furnace and converter processes. Understanding how these plants work, including their processes and production economics, significantly enhances the expertise of decision makers. This knowledge is invaluable not only at a metallurgical plant, but in any role within a commercial structure. I recently spoke with a friend with whom I had worked 20 years ago at a scrap metal company. Back then, the scrap metal market was a completely different environment. Whoever acted fastest earned the most. The market was unstructured. There was no readily available information on the internet. Everything had to be discovered through calls, negotiations, and trips. At that time, the key competence was agility, being able to act quickly, make calls, close deals, and travel for face-to-face communication. And technical knowledge was not critical. But how do things stand 20 years later? Today, my friend said in the non-ferrous scrap industry, the most important role is that of the technologists who understand how to properly prepare raw materials for the buyer. This means that sales have become much more technically complex than they were in the past. And for this, foundational knowledge in basic metallurgy is absolutely essential. What makes me the expert and why should you listen? My company has spent past 18 years selling technically complex products such as processed metallurgical waste. These are not simple transactions. They involve deep technical expertise. At the beginning of my journey, when faced with objections, resistance, and challenges in sales, I turned to knowledge. I don't have a metallurgical education. In fact, chemistry was a difficult subject for me at school. I was fine with math and other subjects, but chemistry was always a struggle. However, in my business, I saw why this knowledge was important. I was fortunate to meet specialists and metallurgists who explain the metallurgical processes to me in simple, clear language that I could understand. If you pick up a book about metallurgical processes or fundamentals of metallurgy, you likely won't understand much, because they are written for metallurgists. There are no Metallurgy for Dummies books out there. And by asking direct questions, I received specific answers from my mentors. I tested this knowledge in practice and it helped me tremendously. I dove deeper with each step. I gained a greater understanding of the metallurgical process. Beyond learning it myself, I have taught many of my employees. None of them, except for a few metallurgists, have formal metallurgical education. Using the knowledge I shared, my team members have successfully worked in the metallurgy field, handling complex technical sales. This experience has given me confidence in teaching and transferring this knowledge to others. I recommend you take this course, trust my guidance, and apply this knowledge to your benefit. Little bit about myself. My name is Andrei Karablin, and since 2006, I've been involved in the recycling and sale of metallurgical waste. I started within one country, Russia, and then we began exporting abroad. Now we no longer export from Russia, but we have operated in 35 countries around the world, and we continue working in many of them. I speak at international conferences on metallurgy and metallurgical waste. My articles are published in industry magazines, so I hope to be useful for you here. In this course, we will explore metallurgical processes in detail. Here is a map of metallurgical processes showing several types of steel production. The first method involves coking coal and iron ore as raw materials. Так, давайте мы здесь паузу нажмем. Я сейчас поменяю слайд и дальше продолжим. Совместное использование. Я вернулся. Давайте снова поделюсь. What will the course cover? In this course, we will explore metallurgical processes in details. Here is a map of metallurgical processes showing several types of steel production. The first method involves coking coal and iron ore as raw materials. The raw materials pass through a sinter plant, a blast furnace, converter. This is one pathway to steel production. I mean here, this is. The second method also begins with iron ore. Iron ore is pelletized in a pellet plant and then processed in direct reduction plant, where they produce direct reduced iron, which is then used in electrical furnace. Here, iron ore, DRI kiln, electrical furnace. And third option involves using a scrap in electrical furnace. Here we see scrap, electrical furnace. Further, we will learn about, we will speak about ladle furnace, why we need it. Further, we will learn about continuous casting machine. Let's come back. About continuous casting machines and rolling mills to see different kinds of final product. In this course, we will examine each of these blocks separately. I will explain each segment in an easy to understand manner. what inputs are required for each step in the production process, what happens during the technological process, what outputs are produced in terms of final products or results. This is what you can expect from the course.